All right, deep divers, buckle up, because this one's a doozy.
Yeah.
Ever imagine a good night's sleep being worth more than, say, a hefty pay raise?
More than hefty, we're talking 60 grand out the window.
Gone. Just for some decent shut-eye. Wild, right?
It's one of those head scratchers you find in Gretchen Rubin's Happiness Project, that chapter you sent over. And trust me, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
So we're diving into the link between energy and happiness? I'm already hooked.
Rubin's all about it. She's got this way of digging into the research, showing how more energy isn't just about feeling less tired. It's like this gateway to, well, feeling good overall, like really good.
Okay, so it's not just me. Feeling drained really does impact everything else.
100%. It's like that feeling after, imagine a killer workout, but instead of an hour, that energy boost just keeps on going.
Sign me up. But seriously, where do we even start? My to-do list already feels lighter just thinking about it.
Well, she tackles a big one right off the bat. Sleep. We've all been there, hitting snooze one too many times, scrambling through the morning.
Ugh, don't remind me. It's a vicious cycle.
Exactly. But Rubin actually uses that as a mental trick to fall back asleep when she's up in the middle of the night. Calls it the 2-minute trick.
Okay, you've got to elaborate on this one. 2-minute trick.
Picture this. You hit snooze, right? But then force yourself to mentally go through that morning chaos. Suddenly, sleep sounds way more appealing.
So it's like reverse psychology for your sleep cycle.
Bingo. Shifting from, ugh, I should sleep, to, wait, sleep is amazing right now.
That's brilliant. And you know what else messes with sleep? All the glowing screens we're glued to. Phones, tablets.
Oh, tell me about it. Rubin even calls it her mad scientist lab, all those gadgets buzzing around our heads at night.
So true. But it makes you realize even those tiny changes to our sleep routine
Can make a world of difference. It's about setting yourself up for success, creating an environment where sleep can actually happen.
Okay, so we're on board with sleep. What's next on Rubin's energy-boosting agenda?
Get ready for this. She's all about sneaking in more movement. And before you picture some hardcore gym session,
Please, tell me there are other options.
oh, absolutely. Rubin emphasizes finding what clicks for you. For her, it was short bursts of strength training. Efficient, no sweat required.
Music to my ears.
Yeah.
But that might not be for everyone, right?
Exactly. Even a quick 10-minute walk can work wonders. It's about incorporating movement, not becoming an Olympian overnight.
Makes sense. Small steps, right? Speaking of, didn't Rubin have something to say about those pedometer things? I feel like those were all the rage at some point.
They're making a comeback. And for good reason. Rubin found that a pedometer was a game changer.
Really? What's so great about them? Just a little reminder to walk more.
It's about the data. Seeing those numbers, how much you're actually moving or not moving, can be eye-opening. It was like Rubin was holding up a mirror to her daily habits, and, well, let's just say she wasn't as active as she thought.
It's easy to overestimate, right? We think, oh, I walked around the grocery store, that counts. But having that data, that little accountability buddy.
It keeps you honest. And speaking of accountability, let's talk about another energy zapper. Clutter.
Ugh, yes. The mental weight of too much stuff is real. How does Rubin tackle this one?
She goes deep. We're talking identifying different types of clutter, like sentimental items we can't bear to part with.
Oh, I have a whole box of those.
Right. Or that just-in-case clutter lurking in the back of our closets. You know, that bread maker you're convinced you'll use again someday.
Okay, you're speaking my language. So Rubin actually has names for these clutter personalities. I'm strangely relieved.
She does. There's aspirational clutter, like that bread maker, things we buy with the best intentions but never quite use. Then there's the I might need this someday clutter, which, let's be honest.
We probably won't. But knowing the why behind our clutter, that's got to help us actually do something about it, right?
We probably won't. But knowing the why behind our clutter, that's got to help us actually do something about it, right?
Right. So does Rubin share her own decluttering adventures? You know, walk the walk.
Oh, absolutely. She goes full on Marie Kondo before Marie Kondo was even like a thing, tackling her closet like with a vengeance.
I love it. What'd she say about it?
It's inspiring, really. She talks about this amazing feeling of lightness, like liberation after letting go of clothes she knew she'd never wear. It's relatable, you know?
Totally. It's like decluttering your mind at the same time, getting rid of that nagging guilt, the mental energy drain of holding on to things we don't need.
Exactly. And she even gets her husband on board, though it sounds like he was a bit, shall we say, less enthusiastic about parting with his stuff.
Oh, I know that struggle. My partner's the same way. Trying to get rid of anything is like prying a treasure from Gollum's grasp.
Well, Rubin did mention he ended up letting go of a huge bag of clothes, but it just goes to show decluttering is personal. What works for one person might not work for another. It's about finding your own comfort zone with letting go.
So true. And it's not just about the physical stuff, right? There's that invisible clutter, those to-dos that just keep swirling around in our minds.
Exactly. Rubin calls those loose ends, and she's spot on about how draining they can be. It's that feeling of having a million things you should be doing weighing you down,
Right.
making you feel like a bad friend, family member, even a bad parent just because you haven't returned that one email.
Ugh. Yes. Like that email you've been putting off or that phone call. The longer you wait, the worse it gets.
Exactly. But here's where Rubin shines. She's all about practical solutions. One of my favorites is the 1-minute rule.
1-minute rule. Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay on me.
It's so simple, but effective. If something takes less than a minute to do, you do it right then, right there. No excuses.
Like putting your keys away when you walk in the door or tossing that empty coffee cup in the recycling.
Exactly. It's about those small wins, preventing those little tasks from snowballing into a giant, overwhelming to-do list monster.
I love it. Small steps, big impact. Does Rubin have any other productivity hacks up her sleeve? I love it. Small steps, big impact. Does Rubin have any other productivity hacks up her sleeve?
Yeah. She's got this thing, calls it the evening tidy up. Basically, taking like 10 minutes each night to put stuff back where it belongs, clear the surfaces, reset for the next day.
Again, not a huge time commitment, just building those manageable habits, like that quick 10-minute walk, a small change, big difference.
Exactly. It's about consistency, not going from 0 to 60. Plus, as Rubin points out, there is a certain calmness that comes with putting things in order. It's like a ritual, Helps you unwind at the end of the day.
I can see that. Ties right back into the energy-happiness connection, doesn't it? You're not just checking things off.
Yeah.
You're creating a more peaceful, energizing environment. So we've talked about sleep, exercise, decluttering, those pesky to-dos. Anything else Rubin throws our way?
This is where things get interesting. She talks about this idea of acting the way you want to feel.
Okay, now hold on. What does that even mean? Fake it till you make it.
Kinda. It's actually based on science, this concept called embodied cognition. Basically, it suggests that our actions, even just our posture, can impact our thoughts and emotions.
So you're saying if I'm feeling drained, instead of collapsing on the couch, I should, go for a run?
Not necessarily a run, but moving your body can help shift your mindset. Put on some music, dance around the living room, even just stand up a little straighter. It's about breaking free from those negative thought patterns by literally changing your physical state.
Huh. And Rubin actually backs this up.
Oh yeah, she shares a bunch of her own experiences. Honestly, I was surprised how well it worked for her. Like, even just pretending to be enthusiastic with her kids when she was exhausted, she found it actually boosted her energy.
Fake it till you make it, right?
I love that.
Exactly. Now, one last thing before we wrap up. Remember how we talked about finding that balance between order and freedom?
Yeah, making things work for you, not turning your home into a museum.
Right. Well, Rubin talks about this idea of the empty shelf. Basically, even in a perfectly tidy home, there should be one shelf left bare.
An empty shelf. I think I like the sound of this already. It's a powerful visual, don't you think? This reminder that order shouldn't be restrictive. There's always room for new possibilities.
I love that. So as we resurface from this deep dive, I think the biggest takeaway is clear.
Yeah.
Small changes, big impact. It's not about overhauling your entire life. It's about incorporating these little strategies, these little tweaks into our routines. Find what works for us, celebrate the small wins, and hey, maybe even embrace the beauty of an empty shelf.
Now that's something to ponder, isn't it?
It certainly is. Until next time, deep divers, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.